Okay, we're going to jump into Chapter 6 demo. And again, it'd be nice if you had the printed PowerPoint thumbnail, which is a 6-page document, which I kind of use as my loose textbook. And of course, the start file that I'm currently in, which you'll find in Google Classroom or on the College Place High School server under my name, under Microsoft Office, under Excel Chapters 6. And the demo is what we're looking for. No supplemental file with this one. And what we're working here is we're working on tables, which is going to closely mirror some things that we've done in Word as far as formatting tables goes, but also some formulas that some people think may be a little obscure, some database formulas, and something called SUMIF in particular. Okay, and another one called VLOOKUP, which is about guarantee you might see on a future test. All right, and just so you know, this is not like theoretical stuff that, oh yeah, maybe someday. If you can learn some of these functions, they are extremely handy in day-to-day use of Microsoft Excel. And also the whole point of this particular chapter as well is some people use Excel as a database. It's not really its total number one purpose as a database, but it can be used as one. I've used it as a database for large financial entries for my former employer, Seneca Foods, years ago. But you can also use, of course, Microsoft Access for a database or some other proprietary program that you can use as well. So here we go, Chapter 1, bottom left, page 1. And it says we are going to highlight with our white cross the range, select the range A8 through F20. And here again, we have a kind of a hokey thing because we only have like 12 records in this database, okay, which may or may not be realistic, all right? Most databases are huge. This one, for demonstration purposes, is simple, okay, all right. So in the Home tab, we're going to go to Format as Table, up here in my Styles group, all right? And we're going to do blue table style medium 14. Could be that guy right there. Blue table style medium 14. Right on. Perfect. It says you want to use A8 through F20 as your table. Yes. Click OK. All right. And here you have your field names. And when I say field, I mean a block of data. First name, last name, street address, city, state, zip. Those would all be fields of data. So the fields are running vertically here, individual pieces of data. Throw all those pieces of data together, for in this case, one person, you have what's called a record. So this would be a record for Bruce Carey. These would be the field names up here at the top. This would be all the information in the account values field, for example. So fields are chunks of data. Put them all together and you have a record. So we're going to be doing some formulas around this table. Okay, on to page 2. We've created our table. Let's go over to F8. All right, and a bunch of different things I can do here, but on my Home tab, if I go to my alignment group and I want to say, so I got that Supervisor review, it's kind of spread out a little bit. I'm going to click on the Wrap Text button up here on my Home tab. And now what I can do is I can make that a little bit narrower and the text will wrap within the cell. Okay, very nice. Resize the column. And we just have to click somewhere in our table. Anywhere is fine. We're actually going to give this table a name. And up in Table Tools Design tab, we're going to call this, on your mouse pointer through, we just click on Table 1. We're going to call this Managers. These are a list of bank account managers that we have in various branches of our bank business. Okay, I wonder where these cities are at. Who knows? Click anywhere in the table. And in the Table Tools Design tab, the first thing we want to do is, do we have any duplicates? And there's a function up here. Actually, it's a command in the Design tab called Remove Duplicates. Again, if you have like 5,000 records and different people signing up and whatever, you want to make sure that you don't have duplicates. And it says to delete duplicate values, select one or more columns that contain duplicates. And we're just going to select all the columns and click OK. It says 1 duplicate value is fine, 11 unique values remain, and we just deleted one of our records. One of our lines of data got deleted. Okay, there you go. That looks good. We're going to go to cell A20. It says from the data tab, copy paste the values in that range to A20. Okay. We're just going to add 3 records here. So you can see that's already selected. I'm going to copy that. We're going to pretend like we just did data entry for 3 records. Can you do that with me? I think you can. Okay. And now I'm going to paste that in to A20. All right. And let's see here. Notice that when I pasted those in, see this is the extreme bottom right-hand corner of my current table. I didn't have to drag that down. When I added those 3 records, it automatically moved down to here. Okay. All right. Now I want to expand this table a little bit. I want to include these last 3 columns, which I'm going to be doing some calculations in. So bottom right-hand corner where that little triangle is, 2-headed arrow, left click and hold, drag over to I-22. In my instructions I have I-23, but we deleted a row, did we not? Yes, we did. Okay, and now I've added those 3 columns to my table. Now you can see that the bottom corner of my table is now down there in I-23. Okay, VLOOKUP. Oh my goodness. Let's go to cell G9. This might be one of the more difficult concepts that we cover in Excel. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to apply a rating to my bank managers. Okay. To my bank managers based on their supervisor review up here. You can see we've got values as low as 7, a value as high as 10. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here to my review value, find the highest number without going over, then I'm going to slide over to the second column and assign a rating. Okay. Now the key thing here is you just create this formula. Now we're in a table. You just create this formula for the first record. Bruce Carey, row 1. CD money market is his specialty. He got a supervisor review of 10. Okay. Now just this row, row 9. Don't look anywhere else on this table. Row 9. Okay. Now we're going to do this with our brains first. Okay. This may be like blatantly obvious. That's okay. We're going to do it with our brains first. Then we're going to program Excel to do it for us. Okay. So Bruce Carey, what rating are you going to give him based on his supervisor review using this table up here to make your decision? What rating would you give him? And usually most people will come back and go, well, you gave him excellent. Okay, you gave him excellent. All right. Hope you agree with me that he did receive an excellent rating based on his supervisor review. All right, but now with VLOOKUP, we're going to replicate what we just did with our brains, and we're going to do it with a function. We're going to go up here to Insert Function, pop in VLOOKUP, and if you think VLOOKUP again is obscure, it's probably the number 3 or number 4 function that I used in my years in industry working with Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. Look at VLOOKUP, and there's VLOOKUP right there. Click OK, and up pops the wizard. Okay, now the wizard is going to closely follow what you just did with your brain. Okay, now just humor me here for a second. First of all, for Bruce Carey, in that row 9 there, and only row 9 in the table. That's all we're looking at here. Don't look at anything else in the table. Okay. What was the first thing you looked at in making this decision? Well, I'm hoping you're going to say that the supervisor review value in cell, what is this, F9? Okay, so lookup value. I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click on F9. Now it says ampersand supervisor review. Because it's in a table, it's not going to be a normal looking cell reference. I clicked on the first record in the supervisor review column, and that's what I got. So don't get freaked out by that. Okay? So we looked at Bruce Carey. That was his name, right? Please tell me that was his name. Bruce Carey. All right? His lookup value. Okay? That was the first thing we did. We did this with our brains. Now stick with what you did with your brains. Next, table array. Table array is the data you're using to make the decision, all of the data. Now I'm going to come up here with my table array, and I'm going to, and by the way, with VLOOKUP, don't grab the headers, just the values and what you're looking up. Now this is a very simple table array. It's only 2 columns. I've worked with table arrays that are 40 columns, or I'm saying I'm looking for a match in the first column. I'm going to go over to column 35 and pull the value over there, and I'm not making this up. This is real stuff. Okay? Ours is a really simple 2-column table that we're using to make the decision. Now, just for laughs and giggles, I probably want to make my table array absolute. So just in case I copy that formula down, it will stay pointing at this table. If you remember from our previous chapters, absolute, we hit the F4 key, function key 4. Puts $signs to the left of the column letter and the row number. So those are quote-unquote locked down so that those won't move around. It'll always point to our table. Now, we come down here, and we go, let's see here. Are we looking for close enough or exact match? That's a really key thing with the VLOOKUP. Close enough or exact match. Well, we have supervisor review as a 10. There are no 10s in this first column where we're making our selection here. So obviously it's best match, right? It's close enough. Okay? So we come down here and we found, okay, 9 was the highest number in my decision-making column, my first column, without going over, correct? Then once I locked in on 9, then what did I do? Again, go back to what you did with your brain. Well, I slid over to the next column and I picked excellent. That's correct. Again, we're creating a formula based on what we just did with our brains. Okay? All right. So which column number? I didn't say column L. I didn't say column N. I said column index number. See up here in the bold, column index number. Reardon, those are letters. That's L and M. That's correct. Now remember, up here we said table array is L3 through M6. And what Excel does is it looks at the first column in our table array as column number, and I hope you said 1. I really hope you said 1. That is column number 1. The second column in our table array that we defined up here is column number 2. Now understand we could have defined that table array out in column Z or column B or whatever, anywhere in our worksheet. We just happen to land here, and it's wherever we define it. Wherever we define that table array, the first column is going to be 1, the second column 2, and if there's other columns, they'll be 3, 4, 5, whatever. So which column did we get our final result from? Yes, we got it from column number, again, column number, not M, not L, column number 2. Okay. Now, range lookup. Now, look down here. In the range lookup, it says is a logical value. To find the closest match in the first column, sorted in ascending order, equals true or omitted. Find an exact match equals false. Now let's dissect what that just said. It means that if we're looking for close enough, we're not looking for an exact match, we're looking for close enough, we can either type in true up here or just leave it alone and just ignore it. Omitted means nothing's there. It's left out. We can just leave it out. If you're looking for an exact match, and if it doesn't find a match, it'll come back with an error. If you're looking for an exact match, you must type false in there. That's a really key thing here with VLOOKUPs. Think about what kind of a lookup you're doing. We're looking for close enough or exact match. In this case, we're looking for, I hope you said close enough. So we can just leave it blank. Okay, click OK. And it fills in, the first formula fills in for the rest of the table. That's the way tables work. Okay? Whoa. Okay, let's go over to H9 here. Loan commission. We're going to use something we did before, and that was the if function. I realize I see it down there, but you may not have it in yours. I'm going to go up here, if, search it on a function. This is something that you should be getting almost second nature with. It's finding functions. And again, the if function is if then else. Okay, if then else. All right, and let's see here. We don't need to really say if, do we? Double click the specialty to select the field to use it for the if function. Specialty field. Blah, 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 blah. Hold on here. Specialty field. If specialty field, I realize that pulls up a whole bunch of weird stuff there, equals loans, I'm going to put loans in parentheses. That is the text. It's an alpha character there. If it equals loans, and here you can see we've got all kinds of goofy stuff, checking, savings, loans, whatever. If this equals loans, then value if true, value if true is going to be account values. I might want to come down here to count values here. Count values times 0.0025. Okay. Otherwise, click 0. So if it equals loans, they're going to get a 0.0025 or a quarter of a percentage point, essentially, of a commission. And when we say commission, we mean they're getting paid a percentage of some sort of a sales amount. Okay, click OK. Alrighty, hold on. I'm going to go back and fix a screw up here that I made. Let's go back and click on this, go back to our function wizard. I clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on the specialty title up here. Let's go down and click on the first record that has specialty value in it. Let's say, does that equal capital L loans in parentheses? Okay. That is going to evaluate much better. All right, again, I'm just doing that formula on the first record for Bruce Carey. Click OK, and there we go, loan commission based on specialty of loans. That's why it's a loan commission. There you go. New money commission, let's slide over here. Let's open up the function wizard again. Let's pull up if. We just had it up there, so we can just grab it again. This time we're going to say is if specialty equals loans. Again, if then else. If something is true, then we're going to put that in. Otherwise it's false, we'll put that in. If specialty equals true, well, they already got paid a commission on the loan commission, column H. Here in column I, we're going to have a new money commission, which is going to be money market, savings, individual retirement accounts, REAs, IRAs, whatever. Okay? So in this case, if it's loans, we already paid them their commission, so we're going to say 0. If it's something else, we're going to say account value times blah 0.002, which is essentially 2/100ths of a percentage point. You can still see that's a lot of money for Bruce. He's still getting $400 there on a CD money market of $2 million. Okay, commission again, percentage of some sort of value. Click OK, and you can see there's the money that our managers are getting for new money commissions. Looks like the loan commissions are the biggest. That's where they get the big bucks, so that's going to be coming in for 15 to 30 years. Okay, select the range F9 through F22. We're going to go to conditional formatting, one of my favorites, and we're going to do new rule. New rule. Okay. And down here, we're going to do something in the format style area. We're going to do icon sets. Icon sets are kind of fun, okay? And we're looking for the 4 traffic light icon set. La-dee-dee-dee-doo. 4 traffic light? What's this? 4 traffic lights. There you go. Okay, 4 traffic lights. And we selected that. We're on to page 3. Okay. Now, we are going to establish what type of supervisor review results in different colors of traffic lights. If I wish I could draw on something right now. I could draw across the screen. Because we're going to say our first value, we're going to change all these, by the way, over here to number. Okay, so what we're talking about here is we're going to create different levels to determine what color of traffic light applies to different supervisor reviews. Okay, so here we go. We change the first type up here to number. Okay, that's crucial. And we're going to say that if the value is greater than or equal to 9, that we're going to assign a green value. And traffic lights and icon sets are really fun ways of visually presenting data in Excel. Okay? All right, so 9 is going to be our value they have to be at for green. Okay, now I'm going to change this next one to number. Drops to 0. Now notice that the top value greater than or equal to 9, the opposite down here occurs when it's less than 9. So the floor of this green traffic light, the bottom level of that traffic light, becomes the ceiling or the top of the next traffic light criteria that we're putting in here. And again, I wish I could draw lines and just show you on a whiteboard kind of what that looks like, but just understand that the previous, whatever the previous traffic light was, it becomes the top of that, or the ceiling for the next criterion below it. So we're going to say, we're going to assign yellow when it's greater than 9 and greater than or equal to 8 for our second value. And we're going to assign yellow. For the third one, we're going to say number. And we're going to say if it's, notice that up here I've got greater than or equal to 8, and this is just the exact opposite when it's less than 8. So this is where those numbers are coming from. They're the exact opposite of this criteria up here on the value above it. And here we're going to say 7. We're going to say red. That is not good. Okay, greater than or equal to 7. And then they're going to get assigned a black value if they're less than 7, which means they're not even on the radar or things are really bad. Okay, 4 traffic lights. Once again, the preceding light becomes the ceiling or the top of the next light's top of the level of their particular criterion. Okay, and we just put in 4 different criterion for assigning those lights. Each one of these values here again comes from the exact opposite of the value up here that's above. All right, we'll practice that again in a SAM exam as well. Click on OK, and it applies the traffic light here to correspond to the supervisor review. Okay, very nice. All right, Table Tools Design tab. Go up to here, and I just want to show you how you can add a totals row just by clicking on Total, and it magically appears down here at the bottom. So here we could go over and say, I wonder what our, we already have new money commission over here. I wonder what our total account values are. So I'm going to click on E23. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow. I'm going to say sum. $17 million of new money. Okay. Maybe I want to find out what the average supervisor review is. I'm going to come down here to column F, supervisor review. Here I'm going to say average. All right. Now I'm not going to mess around here right now and dink around and whatever. I want to make that smaller right now. That's like what? That's like 9 decimal places. I'm going to decrease decimals here. That's ridiculous. How about just 1 decimal place? That's great. And I could come over here to loan commission and do the same thing, and then do sum. That's going to add up all the loan commissions and all the new money commissions. Okay, that's the total row. Okay, alrighty. What are we saving this thing as anyway? It said to save it as something. I don't remember saving it as anything. Let's just go here and save it as file, save as to our documents folder, and we're going to call this something or other account managers. How about that? Save your work in Excel frequently, because sometimes it's harder to set up the automatic backups, and they can kind of be disturbing. Just, man, from Seneca Foods, we used to have these power outages, and I'd have to watch an hour's worth of work just blip and disappear. Okay, so that's the total row. And if you want to turn off the total row, just go back to Table Tools, Design tab, and just uncheck total row, and then it's gone. You can come back. It'll still have your calculations in there if you bring it back. Okay, go to cell B9, and here we're just going to say, oh, we want to sort by name. Just somewhere in our table, drop down arrow, and say sort A to Z. Ascending order. We're going to get into this a lot more with Microsoft Access. To sort A to Z, and now we're sorted by last name. Okay, go over here to account values. Okay, and here we can use the data tab, and up here in the data tab we could say sort smallest to largest. Okay, sort right here, highest to lowest, smallest to largest. I'm going to do highest to lowest, or largest to smallest. That's the wrong wording in my handout here. Because sometimes you want to have the larger amounts first. There you go. So you're having the count values in order, highest to lowest. Okay. Go to the Home tab. Go over to Sort and Filter. We're going to do Custom Sort. What happens if we want to sort by two different fields? Again, I find myself doing this a lot in Microsoft Excel. Here we're going to say, well, we want to sort first by branch. Drop down arrow branch. Okay. In ascending A to Z order. Okay. Flip over to page 4, please. Then we're going to sort by... I didn't flip over to page 4. We're going to say add level. And we're going to sort by specialty, whatever their specialty is, A to Z. Okay. Then we're going to do add level, and we're going to sort even by a third field, supervisor review. And here we're going to do largest to smallest. And okay. It's a multi-level sort here. Okay. Here's the branch. Here's Avon. That was our first field. Right on. Then specialty, CD, money market, blah, 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 alphabetically, ascending order. And then supervisor review, for the ones that are equal here, IRA, 10 before 9, loans, 10 before 9. So first level, second level, third level sort. And we start all over again with the branch of Brownsburg. And all the stuff from Brownsburg, 3-level sort there, then Plainfield. So again, if we had 5,000 records, that would be a very powerful sort. Okay? And it says, click the field for the count values after we've done all that, and we're going to sort smallest to largest. Meh. Okay, there you go. All right? We just kind of took all of our sort work away. All right, querying a table. We use the word query a lot in Microsoft Access. Queries are powerful tools where you're summarizing data or pulling a little piece of data out of a huge database to make a decision, to solve a problem, to whatever. Okay? And it says click the filter button in cell D8 to display the filter menu for the specialty column. Am I in the specialty column? Okay, drop down arrow. And here we're going to say we don't want to include loans in our filter. So here we're filtering records in place. I'm going to come down here and click on loans. And okay. and loan just got removed from my list of fields. Excuse me, of my list of records. Okay? Now they're still there, we just can't see them, right? Then we come over and well, I'm not looking for somebody with a loan specialty, so we eliminated them. Then we come over here to the rating. Okay? And we're not looking for anybody that's just fair or good or poor. We're looking for excellent. Okay, I just want to have excellent. That's all I'm looking for. I'm going to have somebody with a specialty other than loans and somebody that has an excellent rating. And there's 3 records. Okay, very nice. Okay, and we have our mouse pointer somewhere in the table. Okay, and up on our data table, we are going to say clear. In other words, clear that previous filter that we just did. So we're getting into stuff you're going to see a lot of in Access. Okay, click the filter button in the name column. And here we can come down to the search box, and we're looking for somebody called Nunez. Okay, and there's 2 records with Nunez in Brownsburg. Okay, here we can just click on, type something, and again, it's kind of hokey because we only have like 12 records, like I said before. But what if we had 5,000 records? You could find somebody pretty quickly. Click your clear button again. Reset your table. Okay. Click the filter button in F8. Supervisor review. Here we're going to go to number filters. Now we're going to put in some sort of condition. Okay. And we're going to come down here to custom filter. And we're going to say if supervisor review is greater than or equal to 7 and is less than or equal to 9. So it's between 7 and 9 exclusive. It means 7 and 9 would be included if it matched that criterion. Okay? When we say criterion, it's almost like the spaghetti strainer, where you've got water and noodles and you pour it all into the filter, the cauldron, the whatever, to filter that out. And you keep the noodles and the water drains away. Well, think of this kind of deal where the rule that we're creating is kind of like our spaghetti strainer. That's what I'm thinking of, strainer. Whatever passes the rule is going to be like the noodles that we keep. Okay? So how many pass that? We get up with like 8 records there. Okay? That are between 7 and 9. Okay, then we're going to hit the clear button again. And let's go on to page 5. And we're going to hit the filter button up here again. It hides the drop down arrows here. If I want to bring them back, I just click on filter again, and those drop down arrows come back. So select the range I2. Now we're using advanced filter. Select the range A2 through I3. Okay, now we're going to get into criteria and output and filtering a database in place using some sort of criteria. Okay, I'm going to select A2 through I3. I'm going to come up here to my name box. I'm going to call this criteria and enter. It's going to come into play later. And here we're going to put in our criteria, what we're looking for. Again, pretend we have 5,000 records, okay? We're going to go to specialty and we're going to say we're looking for IRA/SEP, that particular specialty. We're looking for guys that have sold, people that have sold, managers that have sold $300,000 of account values in loans. And over in F3, we're looking for a supervisor review that's greater than or equal to 8, which is kind of like fair. Greater than or equal to, just like that. Okay? That's going to be the 3 conditions. So we have 3 conditions. All 3 have to be fulfilled in order for the record to be selected. Okay? Let's come down here and select A8 through I22. There we go. And let's come up here to our advanced filter button. Okay. The list range is pointing at A8 through I22. That's where our database is. The criteria range, which we called criteria, in which it automatically associates with the criteria range because we called it what again? Criteria. Make sure you spelled it right. Okay? And it says, okay, if it meets the criteria, all right, if it meets the criteria, we're going to say, okay. And 3 records pass the test. Isn't that amazing? Okay. To get rid of that, to bring it back, let's click on clear. Now we're going to go one step further. And again, if you think this is obscure, I did this tons in industry with large amounts of data where I would filter things out and send it to what we called an extract area. Now we're not going to filter it in place. We're actually going to have it kick out somewhere everything that matches our criteria. I'm going to select A27 through I27. And I'm going to call this range up in my name box extract. Extract, the capital E, enter. Okay. Go back to, you don't have to select the whole thing. I guess I could though. A8 through I22, our data table, our list range. Okay, go back to advanced. Now it's saying list range A8 through I22. Yes. Criteria A2 through I3. That's what we had up here above, right? Those 3 criteria to have to match. Copy to A27 through I27. How did it know to copy it to there? Because we named it the extract range. That's correct. Except this time we want to say action. We want to say copy to another location. So all the records that fulfill these 3 parameters in the criteria, these 3 tests, we're going to apply these 3 tests to all these records. Anything that matches, it's going to get kicked out. I'll show you what I mean. Click OK. And we scroll down, and there's the 3 records that matched. And we could maybe do some other calculation down here. We could copy and paste this to another worksheet. We could include it in a report. Again, all kinds of different things that we could do. But this is something that, again, in industry I did quite a bit of, was using Excel as a database and using this criteria and filtering to do other calculations. Okay, let's go over here to cell Q2. Q2. I am not in Q2. I think I want to be over here in Q2. That's O2, Reardon. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to use some functions. They're called D functions: DAVERAGE, DCOUNT, and then one of my all-time favorites, SUMIF. I just get so excited even thinking about SUMIF. It saved me so many times in industry. Here we're saying we're going to do a calculation of all the Avon people from the branch of Avon. What is their average supervisor review? Again, why are we doing this random thing? Because again, we're using Excel to make a tool to make decisions, to check performance, to solve a problem, whatever. Okay. And up here in Q2, we're going to go to our function wizard, and we're going to say, I'm just going to look up average for now. Okay. Looking for D average, which is the database average. So we're doing database calculations here. Okay, D average. It's saying, well, where's your database at? Well, my database is down here, A8 through I22. Okay. What's your field? What field are you averaging? Well, I'm averaging the supervisor review, correct? I'm just going to click on supervisor review. The field name, criteria, what are you using to select the records? Well, I'm going to come up here to criterion. There's some questions in SAM I really have a hard time with. Timeout. So criteria is going to be, let's slide over here to, looking for Avon here. Criteria is going to be P11, excuse me, not P, but O, excuse me, O11 through 12, a branch of Avon. Now, what did I just do there? The field name branch at the top of my criteria has to match the field name over here. It's essentially saying there's the field name, which is branch. I'm looking for Avon. That's how I came up with the criteria of 011 through 012, and it says that my average supervisor review is 9 plus change. And I have it automatically formatted to do that. Let's wash, rinse, repeat on that one. Try another one here. Insert function, DAVERAGE. Again, the wizard will walk you through it. With your database, the whole shoot and match. Field, supervisor review, criteria. What am I using to select the records? Branch of, in this case, I'm going to find out the supervisor review, the average review for all of the Brownsburg managers. Theirs is 8.6. And now I could look at this and go, oh, well, Avon has a higher supervisor review than Brownsburg. Okay. All right. Next thing. How many of my managers have bad ratings? How many of my managers have bad ratings? Okay. Let's see here. We're going to come down here to insert function and type in the word count. Again, if I go too fast, you can stop me, rewind, whatever. We're getting into some fairly powerful formulas here that may actually show up. Some of them actually might show up on the Excel expert exam, but I believe in these so much and how powerful they've been in my career that I'm like, you gotta check these out. Okay, we're gonna come down here and find I'm looking for DCOUNT. And I'm scrolling and I'm looking and I'm like, okay, it's going to be in there somewhere in the weeds. So let's just go up here and look for DCOUNT. Not DCOUNT A, by the way. DCOUNT. There it is. All right. DCOUNT. What's my database? You guessed it. It's A8 through I-22. Okay. What field am I counting on? I'm counting on supervisor review. Whoops, that's the wrong thing, Ridden. Stop that. Reselect. There you go. Go to the next field in the wizard. Just follow the wizard. Blah. Okay, supervisor review. Criterion is going to be, in this case, criterion's hiding up here. And you can create all kinds of criterion. I'm going to borrow from this table that we used before. I'm going to say I'm looking for a rating of poor. M2 through M3. Once again, the field name rating is right there. It has to match the field down here. And it's looking for anything that has a poor rating. And it's just going to count 1, 2, 3, whatever. However many of the fields, the records match that criteria of poor. Click OK. And I'm hoping that while we're doing this, you're thinking about, especially if you're a teacher, how could I use these formulas to do something for my classroom or something I'm doing with a business or whatever, and really to solidify this kind of learning, okay? Total checking and savings. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to come over here, and this thing we're trying to figure out here is, of all of my account managers with a specialty of checking and savings, what is the total account values? So I'm going to come over here and find a match for checking and savings and add that up. Checking and savings, that up, and so on until I have a grand total for all of the fields that have a special, the records that have a specialty of checking and savings. Okay, so here we go. Let's create our formula. This is, let's go up to our insert function, go find sum, and go. I love this. I just love SUMIF. I love SUMIF. Double click, SUMIF. Okay. So SUMIF is doing a sum command and also a logic command doing a comparison. So first of all, the range. Now with the SUMIF command, as opposed to the D commands, the DCOUNTs, the DAVERAGE, the DSUMs, whatever, with the SUMIF command, you don't need to put in the field headers. So I'm just going to go here, down here, and select the data. A9 through I-22. Okay, it comes up with managers. Okay. Criteria is going to be, and I could do a bunch of different things in here. I could type in the words checking and savings. I could have something over here that says checking and savings that I'm clicking on, but in this case I'm just going to type it in. I'm going to put with quotes. Make sure you type it correctly, by the way. Checking / savings, end quote. Uppercase letters. Don't misspell them or else you're going to end up with nonsense. Okay? Then it's, now that I'm finding, as I find those records, what am I doing my math on? SomeRange. This has to be a numeric field because it's a SomeRange, right? I'm doing math on it. So I'm going to come down and just select the values, account values, A9 through A22, which means every time I find a match for checking and savings, I'm going to add up my account values. Click OK. And I have 0, and that's not right. I messed up somewhere. Where did I go wrong? Okay. Let's go back here. We are going to select the range. And here's where I messed up. Yes, you're right. You noticed it too. I needed to just select the specialty range. That's what I was searching on in my data table. Okay. That's what I was looking for. Just the range. See, I make mistakes too. I selected the range. The criteria is checking and savings. It's looking for any record that has checking and savings. And then my SomeRange over here, every time it finds a match, it's going to add that number over there. I find that of all the people with checking and savings, all the accounting managers with that as a specialty, end up with a total of $1.7 million. Again, this is random stuff. It's related to a bank. You're like, ho hum, what does this have to do with anything? If you're into an industry, hair salons, diesel mechanics, architecture, real estate, you'd be doing your own calculations on something else. Houses sold, different ratios with engines, customers with different types of haircuts. I don't know. Okay, let's come down here to our final one. Kind of a variation of the if. This is COUNTIF. And here I want to count all of my loan managers. Count of loan officers. Okay, this time we're going to look for count again. Remember we tried DCOUNT before. COUNTIF. COUNTIF is just simply counting anything that matches the criteria. I want to take you back to one thing here really quick. Here we're saying our range is specialty, D9 through D22. Criteria is loans. I might want to put that in quotes just for laughs and giggles. Excel probably will do that automatically. It's going to count everybody that matches that criteria. And there's 4 officers that match that criteria. Bottom right, page 5. Now let's go back to this function, the SUMIF. One thing I wanted to talk about, we're going to see this in a SAM question. That's why I want to make sure I cover this. Notice that the SomeRange down here is not in bold. It's not required. The reason is, now this is kind of a no-brainer here with this, and because we've got manager's specialty right down here. But what if our range was the same field? What if we were looking for a total of all account values that were greater than 500,000? Well, let's just do that. Okay. What if I was looking for everybody with a account value greater than 500,000? I'd say account values, and I'd say greater than 500,000. All right. If I was using the same range to select records as I was to do my math, add them all up, guess what? I could have just leave this blank. SomeRange are the actual cells to sum. If omitted, the cells in the range are used. So if I'm using the same cells to select records as I'm calculating, I don't need to put something in the SomeRange. This little syntax reminder, and again, when I say syntax, I mean the formatting of a formula. I don't need it. Just looking for everything that's greater than 500,000. I could click OK, and it would calculate $16 million, it looks like. Okay? All right. That was just an example. I just kind of made that up on the fly. So again, we're creating calculations to solve problems, to report performance, to tell people what's going on, help them make decisions, all kind of reasons why we would create these particular formulas. Okay, To convert a table to a range, we're going to get into subtotals here. All right. Select A8 through I22. Okay. Go to the Table Tools Design tab. All right. We're going to say Convert to Range. Basically going to take away our table here. And it says you want to convert the table to a normal range. So we're getting rid of our table. Okay, there you go. All right. Now I want to sort this by column E. Bing, 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 bing. Let's see here. At each change in branch. Actually, I want to sort this by branch is what I want to do. Data, sort. I'm going to say I'm going to sort by branch. They don't really have that in the instructions very well, but let's just humor me there for a second. I'm going to sort this by branch. I can still do that even though I kind of eliminated my table structure. I can still sort by branch in alphabetical order. Okay. My field range, my entire data table it's not really a table anymore. It's a range of data now. I took away the table. We're going to get into something called subtotals, which is over here. A very powerful way to summarize data in Excel. So let's click on subtotal. And it says in each change in, now you have to have sorted on this. You have to sort on the field you want to do at each change in. Again, I sorted by branch. Sorted by branch. And every time that changes, I want to sum, which is already there. What do I want to sum? I want to sum account values, not new money commission. And if you're going to do a sum command, again, it must be a numeric value. You can't sum on branch. It's text. You can't sum on specialty. It's text. Okay? You have to sum on a numeric value, which in this case is going to be account values. Okay? So I did it by each change in branch, sum, and we're going to do something called subtotals, like I said. All right? Click OK. There's my subtotals. Here's Avon with a subtotal, Brownsburg with a subtotal, and Plainfield with a subtotal, and then a grand total. Okay, well, what if I want to create a summarized report without all this detail? I can come over here to outline level 2. See up here, 1, 2, 3. 3 is all the detail. If I click on the minus sign, see how that rolls up? Avon, Brownsburg, Plainfield. Now I've got just subtotals and a grand total. If I want just the grand total, I just click on the first roll-up field, and all I've got is a grand total. Go back and click plus. There's my 3 subtotals. And again, I can click the plus signs to bring all that data back if I want to. Okay? And when I'm done, I could come back to subtotal, say, I'm done, remove all. Okay? Then I could go back and reestablish my table or whatever. So subtotals are very powerful ways of summarizing data in an Excel file. Oh boy, that was a lot of stuff. Working with extractions, filters in place, some new formulas, the traffic lights, icon sets, that was something new. And then these DCOUNT, DAVERAGE, COUNTIF, SUMIF, some very powerful functions that we were dealing with here in this particular demo. And from here, you're going to go on to the practice exam for Excel Chapter 6. Thanks for watching again.